All right, and we're live from my bedroom, and we're online. That's right, we're online, and here we are. And I'm excited because I sought out women. You know, here's the thing: as a married man, it's very difficult to strum up conversations talking to young girls or women or the opposite sex at all, because I'm a married man. I have no time in my day to start a conversation that's only going to get me into trouble. But I got to tell you, I feel like a guy who's in the business of promoting people in the entertainment industry, and I felt terrible that I wasn't talking to young ladies. But we have a young lady on tonight, and we're going to talk to her. But first, I'd like to talk about
tires.com.
Oh, it would. And also, I'd like to talk about
Truly You.
Yeah, that's right. Truly You.
.ca.
That is 100% correct. That is exactly right. So here we are. But first, if we could have you say
Theme song.
Soul on the dotted line. All right, now we're back and we're online. And I got to tell you, I'm not a good reader. My comprehension's around 70%. When I went to school, I was the class clown. I lived most of my life in the hallway or in the principal's office. But at the end of the day, I have my own national television show pertaining to being funny. So what are you doing in class today? I'm preparing for the rest of my life. So today I get to talk to people and be doing that. And I'm excited to promote. And I can't pronounce it 100%, but I'm hoping I get it right with Emilie Carrey.
Yes.
Yay for
me!
That didn't have to work out that way, I have to be honest. So my kids are in the room, 6, 8, and 11 in June. So I'm excited to have you here. Thank you, and welcome to my bedroom.
Thank you for having me in your bedroom with your children.
Yeah, with my children, thank you, right? Which is totally appropriate with my children here. And my wife isn't. So, again, I want to promote the idea of women in the entertainment industry. There isn't a lot of women in the entertainment industry, and that's not a problem for me specific, but I'm pretty sure it's every industry that has stand-up or entertaining or beatboxing or singers. I don't believe there's more women than men. I think it's always more men than women. Have you noticed that?
Oh, 100%. It's so noticeable if you're active in these scenes as well, and you constantly see these types of shows. You always notice that there's so many more men than women, and when there is a woman, she stands out like crazy.
Well, like crazy. See, as long as you say that, if I said that woman standing out like crazy, I can go to jail. I think I can almost go to jail for that comment. But that's what I'm trying to have that conversation. That's the conversation I'm trying to have with you, which is that's a problem. And again, I think part of the problem might be just this, trying to promote you, to reach out to you. If I wasn't friends with your brother-in-law, how would I have known you specifically? I mean, I know you exist because if you don't know this, when you were forced on stage back in Beat Box Battle 1, and they had an amateur contest for people to pop up, you popped up and blow the place away, and you won the amateur in between the show.
Oh, you were there for that.
Yeah, I would have been supporting my Philly. What? Of course. What are you talking about? Of course I was there. I was there and hanging.
Well, I remember the main thing about that was the guy who was the host of that night. He was in the car with my sister and I on our way to this event, and my sister was telling him that, oh, she's a beatboxer, and then they were having those contests, and the winners, they would go on stage, and it was women who they were like, oh, have a dance off. And I guess when after a couple rounds of those women having dance offs for these tickets, he saw me in the audience, and he kind of switched it up and said, actually, are there women that can beatbox? Because it's so rare that when we were up there, he said, oh, are there any, when he saw me, he knew that there wouldn't be many women that, would go just jump on stage like that. So that was really cool. That was the first time I was ever on stage, and it was really awesome and epic. But it wouldn't have happened unless there was that contest going on for, are there any women who can beatbox?
Right, you see? Exactly. On that show, I don't remember the female being represented at all.
No, at that rate, there was definitely, there was a girl from the USA who was judging, but that was it. I mean, and there was a good chunk of people at that event too, I remember.
Oh no, hey man, we were blowing the roof off that place. That was fantastic. I had a great night.
That was fun. It's always a good time there.
Yeah, exactly. And so I'm not 100% sure how you are representing or how you are or how are you're in the business. As I said, I saw you stepping on stage, being the first time to do what you're doing, and now, honestly, I'm talking to Flip about, you know what, I'm looking for some women to talk to because I'm just feeling really crazy about it. He says, you're killing me. She is going to Berlin to represent Canada. I went, what? So explain that, and who are you representing? Because if you're representing me, go girl. But if you're not representing me, still go girl. You know what I mean? I mean, still go. And and hold on, is it a girl? Is it a girl contest? Like, is it girl against girl, or is it just beatbox?
Unfortunately, it's not there yet. It's still girl against girl, even though I strongly believe that it's at the point that it should be girl against guy. When it started, when beatboxing started, a few years back, I mean a while back, when they started having these competitions, it was girl versus girl, guy versus guy, and it was significant. But now it's so developed that girls have proven themselves, because you definitely have to prove yourself in a lot of the entertainment businesses, that girls could compete against guys. But so when I go over there, I'm going to be the first female who's actually competing, who's Canadian, in the female category. So I will be representing all of you in the bedroom right now. In Berlin.
Hold on, all of us in the bedroom, all of us out in Canada land. So you know what?
Yeah.
Normally I don't do this, but I'm going to tell you right now. Normally when I advertise, and right now the advertisers, as you know, is www.tirestires.com. And if you don't have winter tires on your car, I promise you, you have a 5-year-old car, you better get some tires. That's for sure. And after that, we got trulyu.ca, and they're helping people who, if they have alopecia or they're losing their hair, that they help with a sympathetic hand. And they got great product. And my wife works there, and so I know that the people that work there have a high skill and a great service. But what I'm trying to pull for is who you're going for. beatboxcanada.com. Is that who's your sponsor?
Well, Beatbox Canada is the main beatbox organization in Canada, but there's also many beatbox leagues in North America. But I would say for sure 100% I'm representing Beatbox Canada in Berlin, in the female category.
Right, female. That's actually the problem. Female category. It's a category. Yeah. Yay for categories. Now, if it wasn't for that, I don't understand why. So hold on. Is there enough women then to make it a situation? How many women are you going toe to toe with against there in Berlin?
So 25 women from all over the world are chosen to compete against each other, and there's 75 men. So there is a big difference in numbers when comparing to categories. But I've been saying for a long time, and I know after this year, it's not going to be 2 categories anymore, separating by genders, because there's so many women that are at the same level as men. I mean, if you look at the American, I know you don't follow it so much, but I'll update you. In the USA, the American Beatbox Championships this year, the person who got second place was actually a female, and there's a lot more beatboxers in the States than Canada. So it's just something to put in perspective of how, like, a female is definitely proven themselves and gotten to that level. So I can assertively say that after this year, at the next championships, I highly doubt there would be a category. And if there is, it's completely wrong, because women have reached the level that they can compete against the guys.
For sure. I just got to make sure I heard you correctly, because I got my son picking his nose right in front of me. So I lost a little bit of focus. Yeah, you're not picking your nose? You want me to lie to the people? Theater of the mind? Oh, you're picking a new car. And you like the Subaru? So here's my thing. Did you say you had some championships go down in America, and the second person was a woman?
Yes, there were beatboxers chosen from all over the USA, and they competed against each other. And the person who got second place was a female, and she beat a bunch of guys. So it's just,
And of course she should. I mean, I've heard you spit some beats your own self. Basically, if you can do one beat, you know, whatever. If you can do two, people might listen. You do three, you can be a talent. If you're doing four, meaning doing vocals at the same time, which is what you seem to be able to pull off, you're now in the caliber of being able to perform with the likes of anybody who ever thought they had the likes of. So you are battling now. I mean, the last time I saw you had three because you were clearly beating, but now you're vocal as well. I heard the last clip I heard on YouTube had some vocal attached.
Yeah, I mean, to me, my biggest thing when it comes to beatboxing is I'm creating a song, I'm making music, rather than, you know, a lot of times people in general, when they think beatboxing, they think like they'll think of Dougie Fresh or Biz Markie, you know, the old guys, and well, not so old, but you know, older. And
did you say Biz Markie? Now
yes.
listen, anytime I think of Biz Markie, and remember, I'm not putting this to television, so it is online, so a lot of rules really don't apply to me. But he sings this one song that is a flashback, and that's all I got from Biz Markie, which is you got what I need. We say he's just well. You say he's just you. And that's all I got in my head. That is all I have in my trunk. I mean, I got some BIG that makes it that I can't spit it back, and now you got talent. I'm a mimic, as you just heard, and I can't do BIG. But if I can do you, not that you're not a talent, you're not something that I'm like, well, you're awesome. And Biz Markie, you brought up. I just wanted to know, does he have something that I just didn't hear, and you should drop some knowledge on me and give me some weight, because I don't know Biz Markie even as a beatboxer. I know him as you heard him. You heard what I thought.
Well, that's his song that he's the very, very most known for, that he became popular for. But Biz Markie was actually one of the first beatboxers too, or artists that incorporated it, because along with like Dougie Fresh and the Roots crew, the Roots kids,
the Roots. I don't know how they did it, but they are main stage now.
Yeah,
right. They are the side band.
they are still pushing.
They are the best. They're the best. And Dave Chappelle, when he did his street performance before he took off to the middle of nowhere, but I still think he's doing street shows. The Roots were a part of that. The Roots are still a part of all that. Oh,
really?
Yeah. No, they're a part of everything comedic. I've noticed that most musicians, and I don't know if beatbox is, again, if you don't mind me saying it, it's a sport. I mean, it ends up that you can bob your head to it and dance to it, but at the end of the day, when you put two people, I mean, I've heard of Battle of the Bands. You know, what song do people like the most? You know, not it's a popularity contest. You know, what song do you like the most? But beats, it's like, what guy just blew you away? Like, I don't know how he did that. You're telling me there was no delay pedal? That all came out of that guy's face? You know what I mean? Yeah. The business you're in is, I'm not 100% sure what you're cooking for. Like, because I call it, as again, it's a sport. And would you agree it's a sport, or am I wrong? And it's a music genre, and I'm just ridiculous.
It's tough to say. When it comes to battling, I'll agree with you. When it comes to people who don't battle and, you know, do their individual beatboxing, they wouldn't say so, because they don't compete against each other. But so many beatboxers, like, I would say a strong 90% of the community are into battling, and it's two guys. You into the Canadian champs? It's two guys on stage. One beatboxes for so long, the other the same time, and it's judged. It's kind of like if you were to go to a
stand-up comic. I mean, you have to go with me now. So it'd be like the America's Most Talented, America's Got Talent. It becomes a talent contest at the end of the day,
yeah.
But they're doing the same talent, so now it's a sport. Like, you know, two people who know how to hit a golf ball into a hole from a million miles away. It becomes a sport like ballroom dancing. You actually know how to turn 3 times without vomiting. It became an Olympic event. So my point is, not that dancing isn't still dancing when it's ballroom dancing, but it became an Olympic sport.
Really?
No, you know that. Come
Oh,
on, lady friend. Am I dropping some knowledge on you?
I didn't know that. I can't say I knew that. Am I being gullible right now?
You know what? If you are, Google it. You know what? I don't even get paid by Google, but Google it. All right. So part of my conversation with you, of course, is that you are a girl, and you've already said that you're outside, inside, looking in. And my goodness, that's every part of this industry, by the way. And again, it has to do with I take some of that blame because I did not reach out to the women, female-y people. They just had a stand-up comedy festival that was just for women. I could have reached out. Yeah, of course. What do you mean?
I know I wasn't aware that stand-up comedy was. I guess now that I'm thinking of it, if I were to think of any comedian, it's male.
Right.
Male.
Well, you got Wanda Sykes. You got Paula Poundstone.
Yeah.
I mean, I've gone American. If I had to go Canadian, I would go local with my own self. Would be like either Ophira Eisenberg or Christine Von Hagen, and the people. At least they had some TV time and radio time that you may or may not know them. Who got big enough that you would know that's Canadian? And most of them are sketch comedians, not stand-up, right? They end up going sketch. But that is part of the problem. Again, it's a genre scenario. Like, who's standing up on stage going, look at me, look at me? And in comedy specific, it's like you're falling down. And I've been told my whole life, a woman falls down, you don't laugh. You walk over and see if they're okay. Now, you're up on part of the deal. Guys, kids, I'm talking to you now. This beatbox thing, when they're in contest with each other, part of it's tearing each other up. Like when you're at recess and you feel like you're being ganged up on because someone's actually pressing your buttons, telling you that the house you live in is no good and the parents you have don't care about you and the clothes you have suck, that they're no good. That's part of this parcel. People that I think are nice human beings, you put them on stage and now they become UFC with words right before they start spitting beats that are like, I mean, I haven't heard anybody pull off a Moby yet. And by Moby, I mean he's in the Guinness Book of World Records for having the most beats per minute in a song. You know what I mean? Like, there isn't anybody that's gone to the, like, that would be interesting, right? Who could do the most beats with their mouth as fast as they can? Because Moby as the techno beat. You know Moby?
Yes,
okay.
Yeah, I've heard of Moby.
Okay, well, Moby for me is an inspiration for so many different reasons, but the one that I got him down for is in the Guinness Book of World Records for having a song that has the most beats per second.
Yeah, that's incredible.
And it's 1,000.
That's crazy.
Right.
I can't even imagine.
Right, but I would think that would be interesting to see a bunch of beatboxers try to attempt the human form of what would be the best we could possibly pull off. And I've just thought of that now. Like, as I said, this is a chat, not an interview. Other than questions. All I have is questions. I'm looking at you. First thing, Flipper from beatboxcanada.ca. Is that right? Is that the proper website? And we'll reiterate all of this at the end of the cast as well. But it's beatboxcanada.ca. In some form or fashion, you're representing them and us when you're going off to Berlin. This so far is correct?
Yes.
All right. And then before that, somehow you won some form of competition to say you are representing. So what was the competition that brought you to the height? And did it include Sparxs or Unity? And those would be then my two other questions. What is Sparxs and what is Unity? Okay, so let's start with how are you getting to Berlin?
Well, the way it happened with Berlin was I'm very active in the beatbox community. It wasn't because basically for the male category, it was the men, the past three winners of, because the Berlin World Championships is every 3 years, right? So the past three winners of Beat Box Canada are sent to Berlin. But with the females, since there's not many of us, it's very lenient and it's different. So this year, being very active in the community, and I do a lot more shows than battles. I do local shows in Toronto. So I realized this year that there's never actually been a female from Canada that went to Berlin to represent us. And I wanted to show, like, we are here, Canada exists. I mean, there's me, there's another girl in Toronto named Jane, there's another in Ottawa, another in Mississauga. And I just saw the opportunity, and I communicated with the organizer, and we exchanged video. Well, I sent him videos, and we exchanged information. And a few weeks later, I was told that I was able to participate in the World Championships. So that was just me wanting to. I wanted to make Canada more active in the the global beatboxing community, as well as it pushed me a lot to get better and and meet more people. And it's just an opportunity. I saw that now Canada, because of Phil and Beatbox Canada, they put on another event that we're now going to have also loop station and tag teams at the World Champs.
See, now loop station, now I just want the kids to know what you're talking about. That's all I'm doing is slowing you down. No. So a loop station is what I was saying before. A clean microphone, meaning there's no pedals on there. There's no special effects. It's just one man, one microphone, and you're like, how is that coming out of his face? Then you have something called either a delay pedal or loop station, meaning you can drop maybe between 12 and 15 different levels or tracks, which you can then beat back to yourself. So now, normally, a human being who I would consider talented is capable of doing three beats, one vocal, and I've never heard any more, personally. I've heard crazy sound effects that are like, where did that beat come from, or where did that sound come from? But in general, that's what you get. So with the loop station, you can go up to 15. So now you can sing a background song, and you actually set it right up. Is that correct? Hopefully I set that up right, and if I didn't, please tell me where my foot went right into my mouth.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. I mean, it's a machine. There's some really high tech ones out there now that you constantly you do a sound, and then it'll repeat itself, and then you can do many others, and they all go over themselves, so you can make a song. And then the newer ones have like crazy sound effects that you can add to it, and just the possibilities are.
Oh, no. I did not know that. Now, kids, you hear that? Not only is it not just your sounds that you're now being allowed to add to a beatbox. So when you're in a loop competition, I mean, you can bring out a whoopee cushion at that point. I mean, there is no limits.
Oh, yeah. I mean...
No, in a loop competition.
A loop competition, well, at least the ones I've been to, it's still just, beatboxing.
No. You just told me that the mechanism that you can hook yourself into for a loop, you can add a sound effect.
Oh, yeah.
No. The second I can add a sound effect, and I can just, with the same delay pedal, same loop, I can bring the whoopee cushion and just add it like a part of my deal.
If it doesn't say you can't, then who knows, right?
Everybody. Okay, good. I can't wait to rock the club.
Yeah, and you can do that on repeat, and it'll...
I know the game. I just, everybody, whoopee cushion, everybody, whoopee cushion, everybody. Okay, so
you got it.
No, I understand.
I expect to see you at the next.
I know it's not my thing, but I do sounds to the point where other beatboxers stop me and ask me how do I make those sounds. As again, I'm a mimic, but I'm not here to do beatboxing. But I can tell you, as a man who's a little bit older than you, and I have 3 children, on the recess playground, my younger sister, and this is going way back, Duran came out with this song. Called Wild Boys, and she brought it home to me and said that there's this kid that can sing the song and make all the music sounds at the same time to make a song. And this is back in like 75, 70, it's a long time ago. And the kid comes over smacking his chest, and I would like to mimic it now, but wild boy, never losing it. You see how it just changes how you would be singing, and it becomes dun 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 wild boys. So it was crazy. I was like, what? That's fantastic.
That's really awesome.
So I'm not asking you to bang your chest like a gorilla, but when you bang your chest like a gorilla, because you are just one big cavity filled with air, right? Wow, right? You can add that. I've never actually seen anybody add that, but I have seen people add the... I've seen people slap their cheeks with their fingers or snap, add sounds. I've seen that, or
Oh, like that you're flicking your throat
Yeah,
right
flicking my
now?
cheek, right? Or you can flick under to your chin.
Yeah.
I love sound effects, all the way back to the Police Academy movies. I mean, that guy's fantastic.
Michael Winslow.
Yes, which in his own right is a beatboxer. I don't. He's a sound effect machine, stand-up comic, comedic actor, sketch comedian. I've seen him do stand-up, but again, his stand-up is doing the sound effects. But I don't know. I'm not a purist, but go ahead. Sorry.
No, he's definitely amazing. He actually at the that I mentioned earlier, the American Beatbox Championship, he's a very strong supporter of beatbox, and he even judged it and did a performance, and he did this effect that I swear he sounded like an electric guitar. And I don't know how I'm a beatboxer, and I don't know how he did it, and it was amazing. He did a whole set, and it was so cool. And he's so talented, and he's definitely one of the first that brought that and made it popular.
You're right. You're right. He's also. I'm from the old school comedy, doing a little variety on the stage, and Bathers and Steels, Boris Cherniak, the incredible Boris, brought him into Toronto, and he performed, and I got to work with him. So he's a fantastic performer live. I'm very happy to hear that he's actually a human being to the people in the market. And did you get to be a part of that? So he saw the support of women being in the biz, doing the mimicry / beatbox, doing it up.
Oh yeah, he was judging, and throughout the whole night he was support. I mean, that night was when the girl got second place, and he was supporting that entire night, and he wasn't biased or anything, but she definitely rightfully earned her spot in second place, and he was very supportive of that, and he was interacting. It was very, and I mean, I touched his shoulder, if that's that makes me cool or anything, but
No, it certainly does, and again, that's why I say you have the entertainment factor, because anybody at the side of the road, if you put out a hat, and I'm pretty sure if you put out a hat and you had yourself a 15-watt amp and a spitter microphone, you probably would make yourself between $15 and $50 an hour. You can get yourself your busker permit, of course, every May in Toronto. I'm not too sure. I believe you're in the Sudbury area. But if you're in Toronto, we have such a thing where we have over 2.9 million people walking around who have at least $5 in their pocket willing to give to somebody who's doing something that clearly is a talent. That, why are you here on the street? If you need my $5, here's my $5. So that does exist here in the city, which is one step below or above vagabond or bum handhandler, depending on who you talk to. But that's what happens when you are part of the Shakespearean life of trying to be the entertainer, telling a story with a medium, and your medium is beatboxing. But the question I have, of course, since I brought it to your face and I threw it in it pretty hard, which is it's a sport. But of course, I would think people would think or want to own it as a music. But anybody I know that ever played music or worked with people who are musicians, they wouldn't own it. They would throw it back in my face, and I'm kind of, I don't know, I'm bobbing my head. So I'm not 100% sure. But then you have to say, well, how much training does a guy who can just kind of feel the music versus using a guitar? But I got to tell you, if you have a guitar, even if you're trying to get into one of the most prestigious schools in New York, they don't accept it as an actual instrument. You have to be able to play guitar's not an instrument, it's percussion, like drums. So to get into a music school, drums is not part of your day. You have to be able to play something that you actually have to read music, not tablature, to get through. To get into a talent school or a creative school or something like this. You'd need I play saxophone. You need to play like a piano or singing. Singing is actually 3 steps above being able to play a piano. But I would think that beatbox is singing. So now that you can have beatbox as a singing as your background, if you were trying to go full throttle, but you are a university grad, so that's another conversation. But if you were going to go to, I'm going to take this to the next level, are you a musician?
I'm not actually. I've been singing my whole life, but beatboxing was
Hold on. I just told you singing can be clarified as one of the 3 things when you're going to like a Stratford. Or a musical arts school. No. That's a musician. You can hear the music, you can feel the music. So is that what we're going to say is the beatbox? The beatbox is the singer?
The beatbox? That's a tough question, because I mean, it all depends on what beat. For me, yes, I integrate singing into almost every
No,
beatbox.
you integrate vocals. See, what I'm trying to say is the
Yes.
person who's taking just all those beats and using their voice to mimic it, it's a vocal artist. So I'm not too sure why I'm just feeling petty just because you sing and you use sounds to make those songs. What's the difference?
I think I think if like the technical term, people have asked me before about beatboxing, and you say vocal percussionist, right? So to me, that one makes the most sense because you're applying vocals and it's also percussion. I mean, you're mimicking percussion, right? It's not real, but it's very close. And um, I don't know, like it all depends on which person. But I mean, with me, I would just call myself a vocal percussionist because it's vocals and it's percussion. Whereas, I mean, if you ask another guy, they might just say beatboxing, and somebody else might just say I'm a singer
Yeah, that's
and
the
I
thing. No,
use sounds with it.
it's how it goes. I mean, it's an art, and that's the problem with being an art and an artist. You can't say it yourself. Other people have to tell you that that's how it is. You can't sit there and say that's what you're going for. We all have to have our day job and keep it real, and we have our dreams that
Yeah.
somehow unfold in front of us. So I need clarity on the other two things. So now that I understand why Berlin, and I understand. So, but I didn't get the when. When's the Berlin thing cooking?
Berlin's actually in 3 weeks from
3 weeks we're going to
Yeah.
Berlin, which is Germany, kids, which is a place we were kicked out of. We're never going back. Let me throw that out there. That's okay. We're Jews. It's how it goes. But I would never go back. But that's a whole other conversation. I'm just happy you're going there and kick some ass.
Yeah.
Ass, by the way. I mean, they have mules there, and they carry large bounties of coal. Can I?
Safe.
Good save. All right, perfect. Kids, gotta love them because they're mine. I don't love other people's kids, if that can be a story. All right, so I need to understand now if I can go to Sparxs first, or what is first in your storyline? What's in your linear storyline? What happened first, Sparxs or Unity?
I At the very first Unity I competed in, I was still Emilie Carrey.
Okay, we have to stop. So what is Unity?
Unity Festival Unity Charity is a nonprofit organization who they have a lot of workshops and after school programs for youth, just to kind of stir them into the direction of expressing their stress rather than, expressing it in other illicit activities. They can, they have breakdancing, beatboxing, spoken word, MC, a lot of underground arts that don't have a lot of support. Unity Charity runs
And
all
when is
sorts.
that? And when does that happen?
Unity Charity is all year long.
Oh,
And
hold
then,
on, but the event that would include beatboxing and everything you're talking about is a year. No, hold on, but there must be a yearly event or something.
yeah, so they run Unity Festival every summer, usually around the end of July. And my first time was 2 years ago, and my partner Jane and I, we were an all girls 2 versus 2 beatbox group because that's the competition. It's two beatboxers versus two beatboxers, and we battle against each other instead of it just being 1 versus 1. Unity's always been like that, and it's really awesome because it gives two beatboxers the chance to work together.
Right, but is it like a mentor situation where you got a younger with an older, or is it like you have to find a friend?
Oh, you find a friend. They have
See, I'd rather, and I'm just throwing it out there 'cause I'm not a part of Unity, but if you give me a phone number, I might be. I do like the sound of what you just said, so I do like the size of it. And where does the money go? Where does the idea go to? Is it just the idea of artists?
It's the idea of, like, you mean the money of the festival, or
Yeah,
the you mean
yeah, the money of the festival. Why are we doing this? Why is Unity? Why does Unity need to exist?
Unity? It's basically just so kids don't get into worse things. They have, I mean, there's sports programs kids can go into, and there's after school programs, and it's an after school program for youth where they can learn how to break dance or beatbox, like youth, because Toronto has a very strong hip hop scene, right? It's also in Calgary and Halifax, Unity. And it's just so they can express the stress, whether it's problems at home or they have they don't even have to have anything going on at home or anything. bothering them. It's just, to stir them into a positive direction, because the people who are running it are, very strong leaders, and they do a lot for the community, and it celebrates youth and their voice and their art. And it's just really important for the kids to have something like this where they can express themselves through art.
Okay. All right. Well, so that's Unity explained to me. Now I
Yeah.
understand Unity. I understand why we're doing Unity. And is it boys and girls? I'm assuming it must be. You
Yes.
said 2-on-2. Would they again make it boys against girls and girls? No, not yet.
Yeah.
Oh, is it boys against girls?
Oh yeah. They have breakdance competitions and
Oh, that's
beatbox and
fantastic.
anything.
Okay, so they were always ahead of the game. Unity, when they first started up. And how old is Unity?
Unity is probably.
Okay, hold on. Let's change the question. How long have you been involved in Unity?
I've been involved in Unity for almost 3 years now.
Crazy.
But I believe Unity Festival has only been around for a few years, but Unity itself was started probably around 10 years ago. But it's just really getting big now. But they've always, in Canada, I find, and even the USA, we've been ahead of the game when it comes to like breakdancing or beatboxing with genders. But in Europe, I find they're still very behind. They still have the girls competitions only, boys only, and that's where, I'm going to Berlin in 3 weeks, and that's in Europe, and they still have the girls category and boys category. But in Canada and the USA, we've never had just a all girls competition and all boys competition, which is great. I don't know if I would participate in something if it was just all girls, because I feel like I can participate in something all that's boys and girls,
Okay, well that explains Unity. All right, so anyone can. And what's the age beginning on that? Like as I said, I have a 6-year-old, an 8-year-old, and an 11-year-old this June 29th. Can they participate in the idea of participating in entertainment shows?
As in Unity Festival?
Yeah, correct.
Unity Festival has a below 18 and above 18 category. So I'm not sure if there even is a starting age.
I see. Just so as long as you're below 18 or above 18, this is how they divide you up.
Yeah, because there is a very big significance between both categories in that sense.
I don't have a website in my head. Do you have a website for Unity? Is it just unity.ca, or do we have something?
I believe it's unitycharity.ca.
Unitycharity.ca, so we'll make sure we sum that up at the end of our day as well. So then Unity in your world, and then Sparxs?
Yes. Sparxs. Wait. Oh, it's .com. I had to check that.
Oh, good. Look at you Googling.
Unity Charity. I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, of course you can. Okay, so now we're talking about Sparxs.
So Sparxs basically came around when I was thinking of how I wanted to have the two lives kind of separate. Like, I want to still be able to have a career and build a professional life with just my real name. And then I wanted to have a stage name so that I still use both names, but I wanted to have the two different ones. And so honestly, I had a few names that I was thinking of and that I liked, but I wanted to have meaning behind my name. And with Sparxs, as cheesy as it sounds, it was, to have a fire, you need to spark it, and I wanted to be like the spark to that flame. And it's just kind of a name to me that always had empowerment, because you don't have a fire without sparks, and I'll bring the fire and all that. So that's where I came with the name. And then I didn't like the way KS looked, so I just replaced it with an X. And that's how Sparxs came. I just wanted something that, it still held meaning. Like, I didn't just choose the name Book because I liked the name Book. And I wanted to have a reason to have it. So that was the main reason behind me choosing Sparxs over anything else.
All right, so that's your gig. That's your gig. That's your thing.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
It just came from brainstorming in English class once, I think.
And so the website attached to that?
I use my Facebook fan page.
Facebook fan page. Okay, so if I go to the Facebook fan page, and then that would be the link to that.
Yeah, it's Sparxs Beatbox. Well, it's facebook.com/Sparxs Beatbox. And that's where I update on any shows I have coming up, or anyone wants to contact me. I always just check through that.
Hold on, through that you mean your Facebook fan page?
Yeah.
Hold on. I guess I don't know how fan pages work. I didn't set one up for myself. I don't assume people are fans of me. But the people who I talk to, so I hope they have websites, which is part of the whole concept of live from my bedroom online. So even Facebook is online, which is one of our platforms that we're basically readily involved in. We do pretty good. Over the course of the last 2 months, we have monthly over 6,000 views. So we hope that people who are going to be listening and now kind of sort of watching, because there's no such thing as audio on Facebook. So I could do a SoundCloud push, but what I end up doing is I end up just downloading a video and adding Facebook pictures. So anything you've put on Facebook, I have to be honest, I'm taking them off your Facebook page and slapping them into a video, but recognize you already slapped them on the Facebook. So I assume that you're already okay with them being in the, as we call it, the online universe. So if you're not, I'm assuming I'll get a phone call. But if I don't, perfect for us. So that's kind of nice for me. So I'm pretty excited that Sparxs is going well. Unity's a thing to keep looking forward to, and Berlin is happening in 3 weeks. So I'm happy that you're doing it. Where did this come from? I mean, I was there when it got pushed onto stage, but where did it come from? Where was the simulation to say that I want to go on? You're a university graduate. Where did you think this was a good idea?
The main thing was I've never ever thought that there's something I can't do, right? So for as long as I can remember, if there was something I liked or I wanted to do, I made it happen, because I was never taught that, you can't do this. And, well, I mean, obviously you can't pick your nose in public, but in your dad's bedroom it's okay. But I was just, when I heard it for the first, do you know Scott Jackson? He's the one who won the year that we were there, and he was the first beatboxer I ever heard. And that year that I went on stage and you were there, that was actually the biggest moment of my life in terms of beatboxing. No matter what I'll ever do, that 20 seconds on stage completely changed it for me, because after I got off stage, which what most people don't know. Most people know what happened before, but it was after that changed everything. How people were coming up to me and they were telling, I remember one girl, I didn't know her, but she stopped me and she said, "How old are you?" And at the time I was 16, and I told her, and she was like, "Wow, that's amazing. You need to keep doing this because you're going to go somewhere with it." And the beatboxers who had been performing all night, the men, they were coming up to me and they were telling me I was good and to keep going. And all that encouragement just inspired me to, learn it and just do it, because I never thought that I couldn't. When I even started beatboxing, I didn't know that there was a that there weren't many women in it. I don't know what it was, but I hadn't noticed that all night I was just watching top 16 men and there wasn't any girls there. So it wasn't until after that, I realized, wow, I'm unique too, because I'm doing this and I'm a girl and there aren't many of us. Because I've been told so many times by some people that it's not ladylike to spit and stuff like that. But I like beatboxing, so that's that. And
no, I like that. Now, what would you say to all the young girls out there that might be listening to this with their parents saying, "Oh yeah, I was just listening to this girl talking about beatboxing." That's what they were doing on the computer, of course, and so they now have it on. So, what would you say to them?
I would say that if you like something, don't think about any social standards. Just do it. If you like something that usually boys do, don't let that get in the way, because at the end of the day, it's going to make you happy, and you always have to, remember what makes you happy more than anything. And you're not hurting anybody. You're being yourself and doing something that makes you happy. And as much as people thought it was annoying when I started beatboxing because I couldn't do it, it's like twanging a guitar. You don't know how, but you keep practicing, and eventually, instead of people always telling me to stop, people tell me to do it now because it's cool. And like that switched over. But it's just the fact of, doing something that makes you happy. Don't worry about what other people will think or how it looks. Like, I don't, in the beginning, beatboxing may have looked bad because I'm the only girl doing it, and just it wasn't really accepted, right? But then you have to stand out if you want to see difference, right? And I love beatboxing, and I'm completely okay with standing out if that means it's going to help make it bigger and bring other girls and inspire other girls to see me say and know, oh, it's okay to do that, even though there's a lot more boys and I'm kind of intimidated. It's okay to be a girl and do this because I'm awesome, and that's all that matters. Just, you got to keep saying you're awesome.
You got to believe in yourself.
Yeah,
Right.
That's so important.
All right. Well, now that we have all that, you can support you at. We have a slew of websites that we can talk about just now, and of course that's beatboxcanada.ca. Also, Berlin. Is there going to be a live streaming of that event? Is that something that people?
There is going to be a live streaming.
Are you going to post that on your Facebook page?
100%.
100%. She'll be able to follow that event in 3 weeks on that date, as well as she has her Facebook page. Is there any other websites that you want to promote?
No,
it's okay. And now that's
UnityCharity.com.
Oh, UnityCharity.com. There you are. Yes, I signed my soul on the dotted line.